The Galactic Council's Technology Expo buzzed with the latest innovations from across known space. Crystalline displays showcased the Zephyrians' quantum-folded energy manipulators, while the Arcturian delegation demonstrated their gravity-woven matter compilers. Sleek, elegant devices hummed with barely contained power, each one a masterpiece of engineering precision. Then the humans arrived. Ambassador Thexney of the Hegemony watched in bewilderment as the Earth delegation unpacked their display. Instead of gleaming instruments of advanced technology, they pulled out what appeared to be primitive metal implements. Hammers, screwdrivers, wrenches of various sizes. The largest among them was a massive adjustable wrench that seemed to have been welded, re-welded, and modified countless times. "Surely this is some sort of jest," Thexney muttered to his aide, his four eyes blinking in sequence. "Are they presenting museum pieces?" The human representative, a weathered woman named Chief Engineer Sarah Martinez, overheard the comment. She grinned, hefting the largest wrench with one hand. "This beauty here? She's been with me for 23 years. Fixed everything from fusion reactors to FTL drives." A ripple of barely contained laughter spread through the assembled delegates. The Vorthan contingent openly snickered, their translator devices struggling to convey their species' equivalent of mockery. Even the usually stoic Nexians seemed amused, their crystalline forms shimmering with what could only be interpreted as derision. "Honored human," spoke Arch-Engineer Veltar of the Hegemony, "surely you jest. These implements appear to be crude mechanical manipulators. How could such primitive devices function in an age of molecular engineering and quantum manipulation?" Sarah's grin widened. "Want me to show you?" Before anyone could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the station. The Expo's automated systems flickered to life, broadcasting an emergency message in 17 different languages. Critical system failure and primary life support. Automated repair protocols have failed. Manual intervention required immediately. Panic erupted among the delegates. The Zephyrians frantically activated their quantum manipulators, but the devices couldn't interface with the station's crude backup systems. The Arcturians' gravity weavers produced elaborate light shows but accomplished nothing practical. Advanced civilizations accustomed to pure energy manipulation and thought-controlled interfaces found themselves helpless against simple mechanical failures. "The oxygen recyclers are failing," someone shouted. "We have maybe an hour before atmosphere becomes toxic." Sarah was already moving. She shouldered her tool bag and jogged toward the maintenance shafts, the massive wrench clanging against her hip. "Chan Rodriguez with me." Everyone else started evacuating to the escape pods. The human engineering team disappeared into the bowels of the station, while the alien delegates continued their futile attempts at high-tech solutions. Minutes passed like hours as oxygen levels slowly dropped and emergency lighting cast eerie shadows throughout the corridors. Then came the sounds. Clang, bang, clang. The rhythmic pounding echoed through the ventilation system, followed by Sarah's voice shouting instructions to her team. "Rodriguez, hit it again. Chen, I need you to hold this steady while I torque it down." More banging. The sound of metal against metal. Primitive, brutal, effective. Suddenly, the air recyclers hummed back to life. Emergency lights switched to normal illumination. The station's systems reported full operational status across all critical functions. 30 minutes later, Sarah emerged from the maintenance tunnel, covered in grease and coolant, her massive wrench still in hand. Behind her, Chen carried a completely destroyed piece of alien technology, some sort of quantum flow regulator that had been the source of the failure. "Problem solved," Sarah announced, wiping her hands on a rag. "Turns out your fancy quantum doodad got a piece of debris stuck in the mechanical actuator. Nothing a little percussive maintenance couldn't fix." The silence stretched for several heartbeats before Thexney found his voice. You struck it? With that implement?" "Well, first I tried to convince it politely," Sarah deadpanned, then chuckled. "But yeah, sometimes the best solution is the simplest one. When a gear gets stuck, you unstick it. When a bolt comes loose, you tighten it. When something's broken, you fix it with whatever works." Arch-Engineer Veltar approached the destroyed regulator with something approaching reverence. This device cost more than most planetary defense systems. It was considered irreplaceable, a marvel of quantum engineering. "And you fixed the problem it caused by hitting it with a wrench?" "Not just any wrench," Sarah corrected, hefting the tool fondly. "This is a Class 7 adjustable persuader, fully modular, infinitely repairable, and guaranteed to work in any environment from vacuum to plasma storms." She's ugly, she's simple, and she's never let me down. The Vorthan delegate stepped forward, his earlier mockery replaced by genuine curiosity. But how is this possible? How can such primitive tools be more effective than our advanced technology? Sarah considered the question seriously. Because we built them to work when everything else fails. Your quantum gadgets are amazing when they function perfectly. But what happens when they don't? When your programming breaks down? When your energy sources fail? When your carefully calibrated systems encounter something unexpected? She gestured to her tool bag. These don't need power sources. They don't need calibration. They don't need perfect conditions or compatible interfaces. They need hands and the will to use them. Every human engineer learns this. The most sophisticated solution isn't always the best solution. As word of the incident spread throughout the galaxy, the perception of human technology began to shift. The crude tools that had once been objects of mockery became symbols of something far more profound, the human philosophy of practical problem-solving. The hegemony quietly began purchasing human tool designs. The Nexians requested technical specifications for mechanical backup systems. Even the proud Zephyrians started incorporating purely mechanical components into their quantum devices. And at the center of the human engineering department, mounted in a place of honor, sat Sarah's wrench, the tool that taught the galaxy a simple truth. Sometimes the best technology is the kind that works when everything else doesn't. The galaxy had laughed at human tools. But when the moons of Kepler 442b needed to be split for a critical mining operation 6 months later, and every advanced gravitational manipulator failed due to unexpected quantum interference, they called the humans. Sarah arrived with her wrench. The job got done. The galaxy wasn't laughing anymore.